What's up everyone, my name is Farid, you guys already know that. Please watch this video with earbuds or headphones for better enjoyment. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and ring the little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Please follow me on social media and relax and enjoy.
Sandringham House is a country house in the parish of Sandringham, Norfolk, England. It is the private home of Elizabeth II, whose father George VI and grandfather George V both died there. The house stands in a 20,000 acre, 8.100 ha estate in the Norfolk coast area of outstanding natural beauty. The house is listed as Grade 2 along with its landscaped gardens, park, and woodlands. The site has been occupied since Elizabethan times, when a large manor was constructed. This was replaced in 1771 by a Georgian mansion for the owners, the Host Henleys. In 1836, Sandringham was bought by John Muteau, a London merchant who already owned property in Norfolk and Surrey. Muteau had no direct heir, and on his death in 1843 his entire estate was left to Charles Spencer Cowper, the son of Muteau's close friend Emily Temple, Viscountess Palmerston. Cowper sold the Norfolk and the Surrey estate and embarked on rebuilding at Sandringham. He led an extravagant life, and by the early 1860s, the estate was mortgaged, and he and his wife spent most of their time on the continent. In 1862, Sandringham and just under 8,000 acres of land were purchased for Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, later Edward VII, as a country home for him and his fiancée, Princess Alexandra of Denmark. Between 1870 and 1900, the house was almost completely rebuilt in a style described by Pevsner as frenetic Jacobean. Edward also developed the estate, creating one of the finest shoots in England. Following his death in 1910, the estate passed to Edward's son and heir, George V, who described the house as "dear old Sandringham, the place I love better than anywhere else in the world." It was the setting of the first Christmas broadcast in 1932. George died at the house on 20 January 1936. The estate passed to his son, Edward VIII, and at his abdication as the private property of the monarch, it was purchased by Edward's brother, George VI. George was as devoted to the house as his father, writing to his mother, Queen Mary, "I have always been so happy here and I love the place." He died at Sandringham on February 6, 1952. On the king's death, Sandringham passed to his daughter Elizabeth II. The queen spends most of the winter at the house, including the anniversary of her father's death and of her own accession. In 1957, she broadcast her first televised Christmas message from Sandringham. In 1960s, plans were drawn up to demolish the house and replace it with a modern building, but these were not carried out. In 1977, for her Silver Jubilee, the Queen opened the house and grounds to the public for the first time. Unlike the royal palaces, such as Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, Sandringham and Balmoral Castle are the Queen's private homes. The gardens and country park comprise 600 acres of the estate, with the gardens extending to 49 acres. They were predominantly laid out from the 1860s with later alteration and simplifications. Edward VII sought advice from William Broderick Thomas and Ferdinand de Rothschild, a friend and advisor to the king throughout his life. The original lake was filled and replaced with the elaborate parterres fashionable at the time. These have since been removed. Two new lakes were dug further from the house and bordered by rockeries constructed of puthamite stone. A summer house called The Nest stands above the upper lake, a gift in 1913 to Queen Alexandra from the comptroller of her household, General Sir Digham Probyn. The gardens to the north of the house, which are overlooked by the suite of rooms used by George VI, were remodeled and simplified by Geoffrey Jellicoe for the king and his wife after the Second World War. A statue of Father Time, dating from the 18th century, was purchased by the Queen Mother and installed in 1951. Further areas of the gardens were remodeled by Sir Eric Saville in the 1960s for Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. The extensive kitchen gardens, which in Edward VII's time included carriage drives to allow guests to view the highly ornamental arrangements, were also laid to lawn during the present Queen's reign, having proved uneconomic to maintain. The country park and the visitor center are open throughout the year. The house, gardens, and museum open annually from the end of March until the end of October, except for 23 to 25 of July.